Hello, this is MARSHALgoldpack, and this is my audio log part 11. So, I'll just like to confirm that what happened with Joker Woody and the leaving of him being in GOLDPACK, I stated that approximately happened in December to November when it actually happened at the start of October. I just want to make that clear. And while that was all happening, we were still in super heavy conflict with the 99th Regiment as well as Shield of Honor, and I'm pretty sure it's called the Forgotten Spartans, who's supposedly led by Dr. Dre's brother. I don't know what his gamer tag is. He's like that worthless in my opinion, because he's not actually his brother, it's just a rumor. Well, that's what I hear from most of the people anyway. So, as well as what was happening in that era before we moved to December, what happened is that my good friend Commando Farah suddenly didn't really become my good friend, because we're like that love-hate relationship where suddenly we'll like each other and the next minute we'll hate each other. And at that point, with what happened with Shield of Honor, he really hated hearing my point of view, because he described me as I just kept ranting on about it when I had all the reason to, and it got to a point where he was pretty fed up with it and decided to assassinate me and make some pretty good jokes with his mates in Shield of Honor. And that was pretty much the last straw. Not to include the fact that Commando Bane, the creator and leader of the Commandos, oh, and let me make it clear, this is not the Exodus Commandos, the die-hard pro people. This is the crappy intelligence group Commandos, created and made by Commando Bane. Approximately like 1 or 2 years ago. He lives in the United Kingdom. He's a real idiot. He's so arrogant. I haven't even heard his voice because he refuses to speak with me. Despite all the requests and remarks I make about him. Anyway, me and my close members of the Octagon Council decided to make them a target, and we were hunting them down and killing them, assassinating them, and actually making assassination cards of them, which is not something we do most of the time, because they were a so-called intelligence organization that, like the help clans, they pretty much refuse to have any connection with GOLDPACK, which is why we hunted them down like dogs. The dogs that they are, what Commander Bane is at least. And that was pretty fun. I think we got about just over half a dozen of them, and 4 of those kills came from me, and about 4 others I'm pretty sure came from a couple of my agents. 2 of them are actually still with me today, and I'm not going to reveal their game tags. I apologize about that. I hate to blow their cover. They've been with me for a while and I trust them dearly. One of them's in the 99th Regiment. Well, right now he is anyway. Ah, 99th Regiment, you just gotta love those douchebags. Anyway, so another little op that happened was some irritating St. Healy clan that we bumped into when running the Great Conquest before we decided to let it go because it wasn't going to work out with how clans are today. But we were at war with them as well, and we're trying to keep it cloak and dagger because they're bragging a false rumor that they created GOLDPACK, which is just so weird. Because this kid's account, like some dumb kid, the leader of some crappy elite group, he reckons he was the guy who created RSL, which is bullshit too, because the RSL leader is like, you know, a 20-year-old man or something. But this kid, his account wasn't even a year old, and I created GOLDPACK back in 2009 with pictures and proof for it. It's like, who are you? But we were, I can't remember his clan names as that was. I don't even know why I'm bringing it up. It just happened to be a pretty big topic back then, at least anyway. God, he was hardly worth the fight anyway. Speaking of fight, the engagements with Shield of Honor in the Great War was pretty damn annoying. they, at the time, did have more skilled members, and they won more of the battles. But it was pretty sad because even though they were winning the war, after what happened on the raid against their extremely disgusting OP base, they pretty much wanted to call it quits, and they refused to battle us again, even though we agreed to have another scheduled 6 matches. It's just another typical clan. If they can't have it their way, they just won't do it at all. So sad. And yeah, so GOLDPACK was in a pretty funky fresh state. Above 120 members easy. Just still consistently growing, despite what's happened with Savage and Joker Woody. You see, I made my point pretty clear about those people, and they only took about half a dozen retards, if that, which is a good thing because I wouldn't want those type of people in the GOLDPACK anyway. And I was always hunting for a second in command. Not too long ago, I was still hunting for a second command because I'm always back then I was planning to go into media and to stop leading as a clan leader, and I've always been keeping my eye out. First ever, well, I didn't even have these plans back then, was Trenton, and then there was Chris, my old friend. That was first generation. Second was Trenton, but for third generation, the first shot, like real shot, was Joker Woody, and quite clearly he failed. And moving on after him, as a replacement, a temporary replacement, I made Yoshi their new second in command. And I had good trust in Yoshi. Without a doubt, I had really good trust in him. But I definitely felt he did not make a good second in command. I mean, he was having too much fun in the real world. He wasn't as embedded to the community as a lot of people. So as a second command, he would eventually disappear. Wish he has. I haven't talked to him in so long now. But he was a really good person for the spot. Spirit Eagle just went mount up to it properly. And I could have chose Shaky Orange. Back then he was Evil Orange. But I had to flip a coin between Orange and Yoshi, to be honest, back then. And I just happened to go for Yoshi. I just had a little bit more trust in him, I guess. And after, in December, not too long ago, after the conquest failed, the last proper clan I recruited for the Great Conquest so we could all duke it out and have battles together, legitimate epic battles, God I wish that happened, was Legacy of Nations. That's right, you heard me. Not Legacy Nation. I'm not talking about the funny little guy, LN Burke's MLG clan. I'm talking about Legacy of Nations. Totally makes it legitimate. No. The leader of that clan was XX. Actually, at that time when I first met her, it was Mum Rules, horribly spelt incorrectly. And shortly after that, she changed it to XX I'm the Mama XX. Anyway, we were chatting a little bit. She was the last clan I recruited into the Great Conquest after all. And I had to break it to her that failed like I broke it to everyone else. And we got along pretty well. We had some really good chats. And the more she told me, the more it kind of sounded like the same alibi I had. I was messed up by the 99th Regiment and a couple other clans, but the biggest one was 99th. And Momma was used and messed up by the Golden Nation. At that time was Arc Legendary, who was a major douchebag I despise, and to this day still think he's an idiot. I mean, he makes a great lead in some ways, but his morals are so dodgy and shocking that he's nearly as bad as Dr. Dre in some ways. Anyway, so we got along pretty well talking about that topic, and the more we talked, the more I understood how she felt about the community. And when we just, at the end of November, after talking to her for in between breaks, after a raid or after a battle, I'd go off and talk to Mama, maybe and host a private meeting on a GoldPack map and show her some things, how she could improve her own clan, Legacy of Nations. She was pretty decent. I mean, she had no skilled members. They weren't very MLG. They had barely any skilled members. But she was a clan leader, and she's been in the community. She knows how ugly it really is. And she had about, at that time, at least a good 50 members. Or at least 40. I definitely know she had about 20 to 30 loyal members, and loyal members are twice as good to an average member, because they're going to stick with you a lot better. They'll go a higher chance of them following you through thick and thin, where average members will just leave if they see a better clan. And this was probably because she was a female. Now, I'm not sexist, but a lot of the percentage of guy gamers to female gamers are really odd balance when you're talking about Xbox Live on the Xbox. There's got to be like a 5% female gamers to 95% males. So it's really rare to come across them. Even more so when they actually have a mic on. And the average dude is just such an idiot. The only thing they can think about is how to flirt with them. They're just so dumb. And females in the Halo clan community, with all this extra attention, have so much potential and more power than male clan leaders, just because utilizing the best out of an average member is nearly effortless for female. I mean, they tell them to do something, in a second they go off and do it. It's like, wow. I think myself, like, they're just so lucky in that aspect. I understood that part, but it might have also been because she happened to be like, I don't know, I think it was 42-year-old mum. Either way, she had a pretty decent clan going, and after what happened with United Golden Nation, it's pretty clear that Arc Legendary lost a lot of members because the people in his clan sided with Momma more than they sided with him, because he's a douchebag. His base is OP, he doesn't follow rules. I mean, it's pretty clear he's a douche. And I thought, like, she said to me this one time that she's thinking of leaving because of how stressful being a leader is. Everyone asking her for favors for this and that, and can we raid this clan, and it's just one thing after the other, and it is very taxing being a leader. I understand that. And I just thought, no, you cannot leave the community. I enjoy you too much in this community. How about you think about joining GoldPack? At start, it was like, oh, that's an interesting idea, but I'll probably pass because my members wouldn't like it. I was like, yeah, members do not like clans merging into each other because, to be fair, it never works out half the time, at least, more than half the time. But I was determined because I thought the way this person is and who they are would probably fit really well in GoldPack. So it took a couple days of hard convincing. I showed her the member count of GoldPack, our win to loss ratio, how efficient we were. She really admired the fact that when I joined the game and said, okay, all the members, attention, line up now, and they would all listen, except for like one or two squeakers, but the majority of the people would actually follow orders and listen. Where she didn't have that in her clan. They didn't even know what military stance positions were, like tension stance and at ease. They didn't compute, because we were like a full legitimate military based clan. We had ranks and everything. On her side, she didn't have that. So she really admired GoldPack for its professional style of military based ranks and setup. Not to mention we had to be like 4 times bigger than what she was. But I only had, I reckon, about 40 loyal members, and she had nearly as much as I did. I just had a lot of average members from winning wars against many clans. But after a few days of heavy talking, and she was thinking about how many members she's going to lose, how much are they going to hate her, whether they'll enjoy joining, and I convinced her, look, if I really do enjoy you as a leader and they trust you, then they'll follow you in, which is true. And she accepted. She said, okay. Yeah, I was like, come on, yellow. And she said, okay, I'll do it for yellow. And she merged in. We hosted a meeting. We announced it. And quite frank, like, I've had heaps of clans. A few clans merged into GOLDPACK. But none of them that had a sufficient clan leader like Momma was. Because she had 30 loyal members, about 40, 50 members. She's going pretty alright. She did have OP, really overpowered raid maps, but that's because she didn't understand the community. She was quite new to it. It was like her first time being a clan leader. So she wanted to be a fair and just clan leader. She just didn't know how to do it. And I told her I'll help her with that, because we viewed each other's map, we viewed each other everything. So when we hosted a meeting, and she was up in the podium with me side by side, I said, GOLDPACK, we are going to have a decent clan merging into GOLDPACK. And because of how decent and professional this clan is compared to the other ones that have merged, this clan will be sliding into the ranks with what positions they deserve to have. So if it's a clan's more of our equal, then they'll obviously have higher seats. And I made a second announcement. I said, the cover up second in command of GOLDPACK, known as the Grand Leader, is now going to be replaced. And we're going to have a new second command. The new Grand Leader of GOLDPACK will be I'm the Momma. And the members were shocked to hear that, because this is a new person merging from another clan. They thought my idea was ridiculous. One of the people to jump to immediate conclusion was Evil Orange. He was like, what? I think he really wanted to be the Grand Leader somehow. And he really did, actually. But it happened like that. Despite some people, like, the chatter was high. There were so many people wanting to talk to each other and butt heads about whether this idea is crazy or not. And on Mama's side, they were even more shocked. She went off after that big meeting and joined her game and hosted her own meeting with her own members. And she immediately came back to me and said, I'm not going to do it. And I thought, you got to be kidding me. It's like, no, you can't let them push your buttons just because they want to get what they want to get. If they trust you as a leader, they'll respect your decisions, and they're not respecting you right now. Let me help you out. And she said, okay. Her members were very resilient to the idea, but she hosted a meeting while I was in it. And I joined and I stood up and I spoke. I said, look, I'm not a bad guy. Momma and me have suffered the same fates with other dirty clans in this community. We virtually want the same thing. And I believe that this merge will be, unlike most mergers, a very successful one. And your mama, your clan leader will not be getting shoved down the ranks like most mergers because they're not worthy. I believe with some training and practice and over a little bit of time, Momma would well and truly make an incredible grand leader. And I told them that not many people have had the second in command position for GOLDPACK, because besides me it's the highest position. And that's going to be given to Auntie Momma, because I'm going to be trusting her with my own clan the same way she's going to be trusting me with her clan and her members. And it looked like, I didn't even realize this, but it turns out Momma had a daughter and a son in her clan, and they were in that meeting. They were resilient to the idea, but after I stood up and went on podium and had a chat on that map, they changed their minds and thought it was a great idea and this might just work out. However, one person, Mad Dogger, fucking Mad Dogger, hated the idea. and he asked them pretty vile questions, and I answered them pretty well. His questions were steering towards the fact he thinks I was going to rob them of their power and suck up their members. I'm like, that's the last thing. To be honest, if he knew better, what I wanted was their leader, not their members, because I already had like 140 members. I wasn't struggling for members at all. So it happened. We suited the ranks. A lot of members, it got a little sticky because I told her what type of ranks she could use. She'd be the Grand Leader. Her official clan rank. This is tough. Now, there's two types of ranks in GOLDPACK. You've got your clan rank that offer you everything besides real authority and power. They give you prestige, statue. They show people how much dedication, devotion you've had in GOLDPACK. And it's good, this system, because when rank offer power, a crappy leader can make his way to the top just because he recruits people and does a really good job, which is not efficient. So we had a separate ranking system, which was leader ranks, which was in favor of picking people, where the clan ranks, you have to earn it. Doesn't matter how much a leader likes a person, they have to earn the rank. They can't rank them up because they like them. But with the leader ranks, you choose who you want to be leaders. That rank is given, not earned. Momma was the Grand Leader, but her given clan rank, I believe, was a Lieutenant Colonel or a Major. I'm pretty sure it was a Lieutenant Colonel. And I told her the ranks below that can be like one captain, a lieutenant, another lieutenant, a second lieutenant, and then a warrant officer, then a warrant officer 2, and going down so on. But she ended up promoting 4 of her people with the rank of warrant officer and 3 of them with lieutenant. I'm like, oh god, this can't be happening. One of them was Mad Dogger. None of them was, I can't remember his name. He's changed it a few times. It was like, it fazed me. One of her close friends who she just recently betrayed. Muffin Man. It was Muffin Man. They weren't happy because they got high rank. I said they have to be a little lower, given your chain of command. But Warrant Officer 2 was still a very high rank in GOLDPACK, because it was. Like I said, we didn't follow United States ranks, we only followed United Kingdom, which is half the amount of ranks, so it's a lot harder to get ranked up in GOLDPACK. Plus we do our ranks honorably, not dishonorably. So that happened and she merged in. Her members, some of them were feisty and ended up leaving, because clearly they just couldn't fit into GOLDPACK. Some of my members were quite unhappy about it too. But I tell them that I'm their leader, and if they trust me, they'll listen and do as I say, and they'll just bite it down for a little bit, forcibly swallow this decision, and they did. GOLDPACK, I don't know, lost 6 members maybe, but it also gained about 45 members from that big merge, and it worked well. I told Momma to take it easy, not to give orders, and just kind of watch how it's done with the current high ranks in GOLDPACK, and she'll learn quite quick. And she did. We hosted some training lobbies. We showed all of our maps around, so I had a really good idea. They showed their maps around. I told them they weren't eligible because they're OP, and I showed them how. They didn't really like that, but they understood where I was coming from. I'm like a Nazi with how my maps should be. I cannot live with myself if I use an overpowered base. It has to qualify as not too OP and not underpowered. I told them I would fix their maps, and I did. I changed about half of them to make them qualified, and they actually looked twice as good after that anyway. So with this extra power in December, GOLDPACK probably in history went on its biggest power march. We felt like a legitimate juggernaut when that happened. We said, okay, let's see our first action. Now that we know the conquest isn't going to happen, let's go for the 99th Regiment. And she said, and have at one of the clans she hates, and that was like Dark Assassin, some dumb guy who refused to battle us, so we never even got to have a good battle against him. I think she did once or twice while I was offline. Absolutely flogged him. But we targeted SOH 99th Regiment, and I want target United Gold Nation, and she actually wanted me to leave him. She kind of like didn't really like him, but didn't want to pick on him either, because they used to be close friends. So we had a battle with the 99th Regiment, a raid. I convinced one of their members to join. Big mistake. We were waiting. He joined. Then his, I forget what division was that kid in. Tay's division at the time? I don't remember what his crappy division name was. Either way, he joined. Then the division leader of that division joined and said leave the game, and a few more members joined after that, because I had one of my agents give me the gamer tags and I was inviting them all like, join, you'll get a promotion. And they end up joining, and he started losing the shit. Only a few of them stayed, and Dr. Dre sent me a message like, how dare you invite my members? I'm like, bruh, why don't you reply? I want to do a raid, bruh. And he's like, just stop messaging me. I'm like, oh, that's so sad. I eventually got his members to join. So many that there was now about 6 of them, but no division leaders, no one above the rank of warrant officer. Until J.K. Chapman joined. I thought, I'll leave him in. And then suddenly one of the MLG players from Dr. Dre's clan joined, not wearing their uniform, obviously, because, you know, they like to be lazy like that. And it was interesting because then a lot more of the 99th Regiment joined after that. And before you knew it, there was one person at the rank of warrant officer, but didn't seem to be a division leader. And we started a raid, and GoldPack smashed them. And it was on Outpost, and it happened to be one of our more easier maps too. Oh, that was just great. That raid went for like a solid 2 hours, and it was just so full on. And the second lag spike kicked in and we lost our members. GoldPack had like a full invite party ready to join, and another one wanting to join. Like when Momma merged with GoldPack, it was amazing because we were so raid hungry. We weren't power hungry, but we were raid hungry. We just wanted to raid, and we would raid anyone. We searched and looked. Sometimes we would send out members into lobbies just to say, hey, I'm looking for a clan to join. When someone replied, they'd be like, hey, I found a clan, let's raid them. And then they'd join their clan and get me to chat with them like, hey, I'm the leader of this clan, GoldPack, etc. Let's do a raid. And half the time they'd try to ignore me because they knew how many members I had. They could feel the confidence in my voice when I spoke, and I think it scared half of them, frankly. You won the one, so I hated. That was great. Yeah, we won that raid against 99th. It really teed off Dr. Dre. Really teed him off. And Shield of Honor was really trying to avoid me. They were not responding to me. I think what happened with the commandos probably really let them hide. I don't know, they were just so irritating. My god, I hate people that hide. They could at least reply, leave me alone, just to let them know that GoldPack's better. But doing nothing at all, man, I see why some people resort to DDoSing. Either way. Yeah, GoldPack had a new Grand Leader. This one seemed to be more efficient than any other Grand Leader. She was not a good leader, like she had good qualities about her, but I saw so much potential. It was insane. I want to train her, and that's what we're doing. We did training sessions. I told her how to run members, and she said it was amazing. When she joined GoldPack, she was so happy. She said, I cannot believe how honorable and loyal and how obedient your members are. She'll tell them to line up, and they'll just in a second all start lining up. And she said gave her goosebumps at one point. It was great. GoldPack was on a roll. and boy, what happens next is just freaking great. It had to be the best couple of months of GoldPack in history, without a doubt. Just has to be. And if you are a GoldPack member and you weren't active at the start of 2015, then you missed out on the best days of GoldPack in history. I'm MARSHALgoldpack, and if you enjoyed my audio log, then I'll see you for part 12. As always, see you on the flip side, Spartans.